Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to turn our individual parts into a kind of technical engineering drawing, and the way we're going to do this is to start off pretty similar to how to make parts. So we're going to go new, top left, and make sure we're on metric, but instead of going to part this time, we're going to scroll down and we're going to go to ANSI millimeters DWG, which is a drawing file. And we should be able to create that there, and it should come up with a blank page that looks something like this. Now we need to import our individual parts, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to left click on base at the top left, and you just need to look for the individual parts you've made. So I'm going to start by importing this one here, and you'll notice that it does show the part but not necessarily in the right angle. That just depends on what plane you drew it on when it came to the original part. I have since the previous video just made a few amendments to that part to make it more similar to the example in the project folder. You can play about with this to make sure that you've got the right view, but I want the front view of this. So the front view might not necessarily be the actual front view on this view. So in this case it's actually the right view, and that's the view that I want. You want to pick a scale that means that you're going to be able to fit all the parts on the page. So 1 to 4 is probably going to be too small. I'm going to go 1 to 2. And make sure it's this style here, the left one of the three options. Press OK, and that should import there. At any point you can left click on it, make sure that that kind of crosshair comes up, and you can drag it around the document as such with left click. That's just the one part, so now we need to import the other parts. So I'm going to go again to the base, left click on that, browse, and we're going to find the one that I haven't put in. So I've put the first one in. The way I can distinguish it is the different halving joints, and I'm just going to import this one. Once again, the wrong angle, so don't click anything at this point, and then you can just change the angle here so it is the right view again. Make sure the scale is exactly the same because you want it to be consistent, and we can press OK. I'm just going to arrange these a little bit better so they're more in line, and it's easier to see dimensions once we start to annotate the document. So something like that will work. And then we just need to import the last piece, same way we did, left click on base, and we can go to exemplar store top parts, which is the actual seat. Import that again. There we go. Now that's currently the wrong scale, we need it to be the same scale, so we're going to go 1 to 2. Make sure the style is the same, and left click on OK. And then we've got our three parts to the store. Now that is all in scale, 1 to 2. And we need to annotate the document so that it's got dimensions on it, so we can refer to it when we're modeling the chair and when we actually start to manufacture it. So the way we're going to do this is we can go annotate at the top, and we can just click on this tool dimension here on the left. It says general dimension. Left click on that, and we can choose which dimensions we want. So maybe I want to know what the width of the chair is, so I'm going to go from that point, left click, to that point, left click, and just drag up, and that should give me the dimension. Press OK. Might also want to know the height of it, so I'm going to double click on dimension, and I'm just going to click there and there, and that will give us the height of that. Now at the moment you may not be able to see the text too well, so we might want to just zoom in, just double check the dimensions are okay, so we can use that zoom on the right hand side and just use the pan tool to move around. Now that's 500, which is perfect. If for any reason there's any dimension that is off, so let's say I want to find out the radius of this circle, once again dimension tool, left click and just drag out, that's 250. If for any reason that's wrong, we can just double left click on it, go to precision and tolerance, and we can just override the displayed value. So it says 250.03, I just want it to be 250, and we press OK, and then that will annotate it accordingly, so that will update it. And that's the same you can do for each one. You want to make sure that you've got all the relevant dimensions on here, and you don't have to repeat dimensions. So if on this part I've got the height and you know they're the same on both, don't need to get the dimension of the height of the top part as well here. What you can also do to make life a little bit easier, we can go left click on retrieve dimensions, and we can make sure select view is selected. We can click on the piece that we want, and we can select dimensions there, and we can start to choose which ones we want to have. So we know that that thickness is 5mm. I'm just going to left click on that one, and we know that they're all the same, so I don't need to click on the other ones. I can just press apply, and that will just give me the dimension that I want there. So that's basically the actual technical drawing. What's probably missing from this at the moment is just maybe a title. So what we can do is we can go annotate, we can go to text at the top, left click on that, and I'm just going to draw out a box, and we can put in a title there. So I'm just going to go technical drawing of cardboard chair, and I'm just going to put in brackets millimeters just so it's clear what the actual scale is. Press OK. See, that title is probably a little bit small at the moment, so I'm just going to press escape and just double left click on that title, and if I want to change the height of the text or the size of the text, or whether I want it to be bold, we can just highlight it here, and we can go, I'm just going to go for 7 and maybe make it bold and underlined. Press OK, and that is the title we've got there. I'm just going to zoom in at the bottom right and just make sure that our scale is correct. So we should have scale 1 to 2, which is great. And we should then have our final technical drawing. When you print this out in A3, the dimensions should be visible. If not, what you can do is you can go to Manage, Styles Editor, and then it should come up with some options on the left hand side. We can go to Note Text, and we can just change the text height. So I can change that to 6, press save and close, and the dimension size might go a little bit larger, which is what we want. Down the bottom though, you might notice that it kind of evades the box down here, so that's completely up to you whether you think that the dimensions are visible or not. So that is basically our final technical drawing, and what we want to do is we want to print that out nice and easily. So we can go to print, and we need to make sure that we are printing it in A3, and we're going to print it to follow me universal and probably scale to fit, so the actual technical drawing fits to the whole page of A3. And then you've got your technical drawing to refer to. There we go.